Welcome back, aka Padders. We have something very cool, very special here. We're still talking about Wonder Woman. The last episode, episode 351, I was calling it maybe 350 on the last episode. That's my mistake. Wonder Woman 1984. Divisive, decisive. It's splintering. People are going crazy about it. It's cats and dogs living together. But we're not done discussing Wonder Woman because I feel like a lot of people missed the intent of Wonder Woman 1984. This movie, the 2009 DC animated feature, it's like 90 minutes, so it's a full movie. It helps us gain perspective on Wonder Woman 1984. Let's get into it. Welcome back, aka Padders. I'm so happy you can join me because we got a good treat. We have a treasure. We have one of those things that you know, like someone told me. Like it's I don't know if there's a name for this. I'm just going to describe it to you. But someone told me this movie was good, and they told me it a long time ago, and I didn't fully respect that person's opinion. I guess until now, because they were right. This movie is such a home run. But before we get into it, let me sell you something. If you go on Indiegogo, there's a trial by fire. You just type it in. Now, there's links for that down below at the description of this episode. Trial by Fire is my 24-year-long passion project. It is 90s superhero sci-fi action. It is almost like this pilgrimage of mine, but I'm finally bringing this idea to life that I had. You know, the origin of this idea goes back to my high school days, junior year and senior year, and I'm completing the circle with one giant 69-page epic. So go there, check it out, support your boy, because that's how you can support me. One of my big 2021 objectives was to have product available always for people to support me in all kinds of ways. And it does take a lot of peanuts to feed an elephant. And also, Etsy, ETSY, that has SUZI. You can type in SUZI. This is a mini comic book of mine, and it was off of a challenge. Like I can go into it later or not, but SUZI is my mini comic that's available right now on Etsy. $25 will get you 2 stickers, 2 trading cards, 1 comic book, and 1 mini poster. It is one heck of a package. Please check that out too. And we're back. We're back talking about Wonder Woman. And this is like so fitting because you watch something like this. You watch this type of full, like they commit, but it's a full origin of Wonder Woman. It's a deep dive into the mythology. It is all the God stuff that we love about the character. Wonder Woman is always compared to the wrong characters. Okay? So a lot of people, they try and put Wonder Woman in a different class. She is in the same class as Thor because the mythology is directed by godlike beings or gods. She is as close to Thor as Thor is to her. And when you appreciate one, you appreciate the other. I'm one of the few people that thought Thor, the original movie, was as good as Iron Man, was it's one of the best MCU movies because it committed to the bit. They committed to the God stuff. I prefer a lot of the MCU origin movies. I don't know why people kind of act like they're all duplicates and they're all the same. That's a weird discussion. That's a weird argument to make. So, but this movie commits to the godlike structure. And it is a structure, meaning that there's, we're building a house and there's a foundation and pillars and the framework. It is all driven around beings that have a element of judgment, an element of insight, action, wrath, that us humans it's hard for us to relate to it and to see the reasoning behind it. And that's, like, again, this is why Thor and Wonder Woman are somewhat important when it comes to, like, helping us understand a little bit more about the universe. So I can get into like some of the details. This is somewhat of a Wonder Woman slash Ares or Ares. Ares is the god of war. He's the quintessential. He is the go-to Wonder Woman villain. Really, his prominence in DC lore came through the George Perez comic book run of the 80s. They really solidified Ares as the guy to beat. Now, this happens in the Wonder Woman live action movie as well. The first one. Very cool. That movie somewhat falls apart. I keep saying it in the third act because, like, there's very little for Wonder Woman to do at that time other than to punch Ares really hard. But this movie, like, kind of gives us this arc with Wonder Woman and Ares and all of these other outside characters, touching moments, real moments of life and death and resurrection and being able to say goodbye. It's all in this movie, and it's a little bit more over the top. Like, we're dealing with animation here, so the character designs, the colors, the movement is, like, these are things that movies cannot do. So when you sit down to watch an animated movie like this is what you want to see. You want to see things that would still be challenging for live action, and the whole crew here who made this movie going down the god route, the mythology route, is the way to do it. Like, it's like you sit down, you have your like concept meeting, or your like let's generate some of these ideas, and you make the commitment. You say, we're going to go into this direction. That is so clear in this movie. Wonder Woman, when she comes to Earth, we'll say, or when she leaves the island, nothing's nuanced about it, but it feels fresh. It feels fresh that she's somewhat disgusted by men. It feels fresh that she's not impressed with things. Everyone is measuring up against her and vice versa. It's golden characterization. It's a complete home run. There's some creature design work here that I think is literally some of the best of the entire stack. And the stack I'm speaking of is the DC animated movie stack. This is the fourth of these movies. The first one being, here we go, okay? Superman Doomsday. That was 2007. A year later, we start getting our multiple releases. So 2008 had two movies: Justice League New Frontier, Batman Gotham Knight. Gotham Knight is a anthology, like collection, very similar to Robot Carnival, the Animatrix, a very successful format. I haven't seen that, but I'm very curious about it because I do love the format. I believe there's like a Batman Samurai also, very similar format, and I think they also use that format for a Green Lantern. So we have Death of Superman, Justice League, The Dark Knight, and then the fourth release is Wonder Woman, and then that's followed up by Green Lantern. Now, so Green Lantern First Flight is a part of this huge push and huge loss that Warner DC had with the movie. Okay, the Green Lantern movie not taking off, pun intended, is one of the biggest tragedies of of our time. If these are the things that calibrate, that really calibrate your your existence. Okay, it's very important when it comes to pop culture, to comics, and to movies, and the intersection of comics and movies. Green Lantern's failure is it's a tentpole. Like, it's such a magnificent loss that I don't know. It's already down the memory hole. People already forgot it. I haven't. We really do have to do a Green Lantern super deep dive outside the comics. We really do. He probably, of all the modern day DC characters, Green Lantern ranked, by the way. But Green Lantern is the absolute most fascinating because he's been consistent in the comics more than any other character. And he, like he's had a full media push, action figures, TV show, like everything. And it's crazy. It's crazy that the character is not 100% over. And we kind of we saw some of that too with the Justice League live action movie where Green Lantern's only hinted and he was supposed to be featured in the movie to later come for for Justice League 2 and have his full arrival. That would have been the move. I think it would have brought the character back to relevance and kind of completed that circle. And yeah, we would have forgiven the Mark Campbell movie or the Martin Campbell movie. So this movie is was almost put out because they had such a good story. That's really the way you look at it, because when we look at our rollout, Death of Superman, clearly going to be huge, Superman Doomsday. And then we follow it up with a Justice League movie. So that's essentially a Justice League movie is essentially Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And then we have Batman, Gotham Knight. Again, we're making sure bets to gain momentum because this is a big rollout here. I mean, they're still making these movies. This thread is magnificent. And then they later started doing a connected universe within this movie release run. It's completely fascinating. I love it. We're going to do all of these movies eventually. But anyway, so Wonder Woman's just there, and it's the best one, I would say, until Batman Under the Red Hood, which was mid 2010, September 2010. I mean, for 3 years, 8 releases, this is the best one, and you can kind of argue because this Wonder Woman story is not available anywhere else. This is an animated original. It's not an adaptation, makes it a little bit more special. So I cannot stress enough Wonder Woman 2009, because that's what I'm going to call this. It's that effing good. Check it out. It's available right now on HBO Max on the DC app or the DC option within HBO Max is just confusing at times, but I still love it. I'm enjoying it. So, and to give you a little bit of a programming highlight, we're going to do a pretty good deep dive run of Wonder Woman. We're going to do Harley Quinn, and then we're going to get into Netflix. I promise you we will tackle Netflix, but I got to get all this out of my system. So everyone, AKAPAD here, I love you, rock and roll, and thank you for joining me.